Hi, this is Lisa Kelly, Notre Dame author and class of 1993, and you are watching the Two Irish Brothers show. Cheers and go Irish!
How's it going, everyone? I am Indy Sean 45.
I'm Irish Ben 57. Welcome.
Yep, and together, as always, we make up the Two Irish Brothers podcast. Before you guys do anything, hit that subscribe button in the corner, hit the bell icon. You will get all the updates from Ben and I whenever we upload a video and all that good stuff. Now, before we get to anything, let me just say this, Ben. The haters are always going to hate, regardless of what happens. But
Yes,
I gotta tell you, man, overnight, the one very disappointing thing that disappoints me more than the haters are the quote unquote realists in our fan base.
Yep.
All the negativity I've seen since the game ended last night has been absurd. But you know what? We'll get to that in a second. But right now, to go ahead and play it, to have some enjoyment from the start, let's have a word from our sponsor.
Deion Sanders intercepts.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. Are you trying to catch this?
What's with this sweet new Deion?
Hey, have you lost weight?
It could only be this sweet new cereal. New Honey Frosted Wheaties. The sweet new frosted flake that's kicked with Wheaties energy for a primetime taste. So what's got Deion acting so sweet?
While I'm up, can I get anyone a beverage?
New Honey Frosted Wheaties. It's sweet energy.
I miss Honey Frosted Wheaties. That was a good
It's been
cereal.
a long time. That's been a long time ago.
That commercial was circa 1996. I was 10 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
All right. So getting right down to business, let's just state the obvious. That game last night was not what either one of us or anybody for that matter had in mind.
No. But holy crap. Holy crap. What a game. Like, I mean, I know we were all on the edge of our seats for that game, and I know that, every single one of us had probably multiple heart attacks, and I know that we probably had every expletive come out of our mouth known to man through that game. But, man, do I love college football for that reason. Like, holy crap. So yeah, no, it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy, and I don't know how you feel about it, John. I don't. We haven't really talked about it. But to me, you got to give credit where credit's due. Florida State came out. I mean,
well, that's what a game recap is for, or a recap video is for. It's to really talk about how you're feeling about things. I guess myself personally, I kind of have to eat crow a little bit on my score prediction and how I thought this was going to go. But I just want to get the negative out of the way because I really want to focus on the good stuff. But for starters, and I'm not taking anything away from Florida State. I mean, they were definitely a lot more improved. And that part, you and I both did say that the Seminoles were going to come out and be an improved football team. And they sure as hell were. But here's the thing. And this is the one thing that really sticks out to me as far as negatives go. If our defense finishes tackles, then we probably keep that 18-point lead, let alone does the game go to overtime.
yes.
That was definitely the biggest problem I saw last night was finishing plays on defense. And just when the ball carrier's right there, how in the hell do you let him get away like that? That was absurd. And And again, I'm not taking anything away from Florida State, but we finished tackles. This game's not as close as it was last night. It doesn't have that kind of ending.
Exactly.
And the sad part about that with the defense is they made some big plays. 3 turnovers, 3 interceptions. I mean,
Yep.
Kyle Hamilton had 2. The one that he made, he was trucking it 25 yards across the field to make the play. And granted, I was talking with my buddy Magnum earlier about the game last night. He did point out the fact that Jordan Travis, the Florida State quarterback, he may have been eyeing the receiver way too much, which gave Kyle Hamilton the opportunity to get there. But still, that was one hell of an interception. That's an NFL. That's a play that'll boost your NFL draft stock.
Yes.
But I can't say it enough. We finish plays, we make tackles. Game's not as close as it looked.
Yep.
And we were getting the pressure. The pressure was there. The defense was getting to the quarterback. They were getting to the ball carrier, but it was a matter of not being able to finish, and that's what almost hurt us last night.
Yep. Yeah. You hit the nail on the head. I mean, we weren't the only one that saw that. I saw that in Twitterland and on Facebook, all that. People were talking about the lack of discipline, if you will, with the defense. People are worried with Marcus Freeman and all that. But like I say, Marcus Freeman doesn't play in the actual game. He just instills the defensive schemes and the strategy for these players. And like you said, the tackles, that needs to happen. I mean, plain simple. That's basic fundamental football.
Yeah, you learned that back in Pee Wee.
So, I mean, but, there was one where FSU went for a 60-yard touchdown through the air as a pass. And that was just the FSU receiver burned Notre Dame defense.
Mackenzie Milton. The pass. Welcome back to
going here. Okay, there we go. So that was just a phenomenal play. That unfortunately, that happened. And the assignment was there, the guy was covered, and then he just broke away for an insane burn for a touchdown. I mean, so I'm not worried with the defense with the Marcus Freeman situation just yet. Like I said, going full circle, I got to give credit where credit's due. Florida State, they played a game, and I was afraid of this. This is what I was nervous about because everything was right for Florida State last night. Bobby Bowden being in Doak Campbell, getting an extra day to prepare for the game compared to everybody else. That made me nervous because magical things happen when you have those situations.
And not to mention Mackenzie Milton coming back and
right.
And this is not a diss. I don't want anybody to think that I'm dissing anybody here. But yeah, the Mackenzie Milton situation and them constantly talking about him coming back from his injury, showing his parents in the stands, and then our former offensive lineman Dylan Gibbons and what he was doing for that kid with the disability. So I mean, we had what I'm getting at is we had everything going against us. I mean, with the feel good stories and
right.
It was like
I know that and that's not an excuse, but for whatever reason, those kinds of things empower football teams. We saw it with Purdue and Ohio State and the whole Tyler Trent situation. I mean, for whatever reason, that kind of stuff happens. So that was my worry. And fortunately for Notre Dame, they survived.
Yeah.
And, fortunately, they weren't one of the many teams that fell this past weekend. Because this weekend was nuts. Everybody wants to talk and point fingers at, oh, well, Notre Dame didn't do this or Notre Dame didn't do that. A lot of teams, big name teams, struggled this past weekend. It was not just Notre Dame.
No, and the people in our fan base that are complaining, and I cannot tell you, Ben, in the past night.
Oh, I've seen it.
Oh, people in our fan base saying, "Oh, we're doomed. Oh, we'll be lucky to go 7-5. Oh, it's going to be a long season." all the, like I said, the realist fans. If any of those fans are watching, I'm telling you right now, get the hell out of the fan base. We don't want you representing us. Us true fans don't want you. But it's like, the bottom line is this: it's one game. It's the first game of the season.
Yep.
And people are already ready to quit on this team. Are you freaking kidding me? But I think the biggest, and I guess this is where we can start talking about the good here. But the crazy thing that I heard from a lot of people was people calling Jack Cohn garbage. Well, does this look like garbage to you people?
Exactly.
Look at that. 26 of 35, 366 yards, 4 touchdowns, and the one garbage interception at the end of regulation, which, I mean, yeah, it's an interception technically.
It was a
but
jump
really
ball.
count that.
That doesn't, I don't count that against Cohen, against Cohen, I should say. And people also forget that number that you just showed with the 366 could easily probably be 400 because there were a couple times that Michael Mayer dropped passes and all that. So, Jack Cohn balled. He played phenomenal. And
he exceeded my expectations. I was thinking maybe a little over 200 yards and a couple touchdowns. No, he played phenomenal.
Yeah.
And anybody in our fan base calling that kid garbage, you are a moron. And I'm not afraid to say it.
And the other, I mean, obviously, Michael Mayer, 9 receptions, 120 yards, a 13.3 average, 1 touchdown with a long of that. Of course, that first touchdown he had, it was a 41-yarder. Michael Mayer just doing Michael Mayer things, man.
And how about the emergence of Kevin Austin? I got his numbers up here.
Yes.
4 catches. 4 catches for 91 yards and 1 touchdown. But then also it was nice to see the ball get spread around too, because you had Braden Lindsey, 2 catches for 39 yards. Joe Wilkins only had the 1 catch, but boy, was it a big one.
Yes.
One catch for 23 yards, but it was a touchdown reception that he wrestled away from the defender.
Yes, that he took away. That was incredible. So, yeah, I mean, I saw a quarterback that is, to me, the guy that is very, very confident in his receivers and very, very confident in his throws that put them in the places that they needed to be. Now, Cohn is not Ian Book. Okay. We knew this coming into this game, and I don't understand why so many fans are taken aback by this. Cohn is a pocket passer. He does not run the ball. Now, I think Tommy Reese needs to get that memo too, because of that quarterback run that he decided to do on 3rd and 5, which I didn't quite understand. You're giving the ball to Jack Cohn to do a quarterback sneak on 3rd and 5. I mean, if it's like 4th and inches, and you just need that push, like, sure, I'd give it to you, but 3rd and 5, where you need to get the first down, to try and take some of this pressure off that Florida State defense was doing. I didn't understand that play call. But, whatever. I mean, we survived. Fortunately, we survived.
Yeah.
But, yeah, on the other side of it, though, got to give, like I said, credit. Did you see Kyron Williams' numbers for last night?
Well, that's the thing, Ben. Our running game was not the sexiest at all.
Yeah. Kyron Williams, 18 carries for 42 yards, 2.3 average, and a long of 7 yards. Florida State, and this is one of my, gotta improve on this. We're not used to seeing this. Normally, Notre Dame is a run team. I mean, we've seen it for years now as Notre Dame fans with the Brian Kelly era. Notre Dame runs the ball. They run down your throat. They get big runs. Florida State was all over our running backs and our quarterback last night. All over them. Tons of penetration. Tons of blitzes. The offensive line struggled mightily against that Florida State defense. When
your offensive line struggles, you're not going to have much of a run game.
Yeah. Fortunately, for Notre Dame, they passed it, and the passing game was on point, and the passing game shouldered the load. And that is one of the things that makes me happy, though, because if your running game gets shut down, you can go to the pass if you have a good, strong passing game. And Notre Dame's showing that they do. And that is the silver lining there, because we've seen it with Ohio State, we've seen it with Clemson, we've seen it with Alabama. You have to try to figure out what you want to shut down. Do you want to shut down the running game, or do you want to shut down the passing game? Because one of them is going to kill you. Yeah. Now Notre Dame has the offensive passing game. Now, do we have the running game? Well, we definitely have the running backs. Can the offensive line block enough and give enough time for them is the story.
Exactly, because it looked like they hadn't quite gelled out there yet. I mean, we still had, like I said, we had Kane Madden on that offensive line who transferred in from Marshall. We have who was the other veteran? Jarrett Patterson, or
that sounds right.
But overall, it's a young offensive line, and clearly they haven't completely gelled yet. And going forward, they're going to have to figure that out big time, or else we are going to be screwed in that category. As far as trying to establish a run game and have that balanced offense that you need to have to win.
Yeah. I mean, Kyron and Chris Tyree, they played well. Like, I'm not going to lie. There were a bunch of times where Kyron had guys in his face pretty much right off the bat, and then he made something out of nothing, and broke some tackles and all that. And same with Chris Tyree, he just turned on the speed. So, I mean, against an opponent like Florida State, it's tough sledding. Against an opponent like Toledo, that probably goes for a lot longer than just 5 yards or 2 yards. So, I'm not super concerned yet, but it's definitely a need to be improved on situation. But I can't say it enough. You got to give Florida State credit.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've been saying it that Florida State has had a very, very strong recruiting classes. Everybody's focused on Alabama. Everybody's focused on Clemson. People are focused on Oklahoma. All these really big schools that make a lot of noise. Florida State's kind of fallen down the ladder, if you will, and not enough eyes have been on Tallahassee. And I think that Florida State is now going to challenge for the ACC. I honestly do. After last night's performance, to me, Florida State is on the up and up. They are in a place where they need to be. They have found their head coach, and they just put, in my opinion, college football on notice.
Well, if they can continue what they did last night, then yeah, you're absolutely right. They very well could challenge for the ACC, but as we all know, this is one game, and this is what all fans of every team need to realize. It's one game.
Yep.
We still got a whole season ahead of us, and I say that especially to our fan base and the people that are ready to quit on our team already.
Well,
it's one game. We got 11 to go.
Yeah.
So many things can happen.
And to add to your let's run through it real quick. Okay, big name teams. Ohio State won 45-31 against Minnesota. North Carolina was ranked 10th, lost. Oklahoma was ranked 2nd, ended up winning against Tulane, thank you, 40-35. Iowa State barely beat Northern Iowa. They were 7th, 16-10. Oregon was ranked 11th, barely beat Fresno State, 31-24. Wisconsin was ranked 12th and lost 16-10 against Penn State. LSU was 16th. They lost 38-27 against UCLA. And then Indiana was 17th and lost 34-6. Washington was ranked 20th, lost to an FCS team 13-7. So to me, the only two teams that were in the top 25 that looked dominant was Alabama and Iowa. That's it. Okay? I mean, people say, well, what about Georgia? Georgia looked good, but they played Clemson. I mean, talent level is you're going to have a dogfight between those two teams. So, you were expecting a score to be close. The rest of those, I mean, a lot of teams struggled this past weekend. A lot. Fortunately for Notre Dame, they were on the winning side. Talk to Washington about that. Talk to North Carolina about that.
Well, the teams that were in similar situations like us, like at Oklahoma, for example, I seriously don't see Sooner fans ready to quit on their team just because they had a game go not how you expected it to go. Okay, I wasn't expecting us to have a close game either, but we did. Okay, these games happen.
Yeah, and just like Notre Dame, Oklahoma under the lead. I mean, Oklahoma was ahead by, I think it was almost 20 points. I think it was like 19 points against Tulane. Very similar situation with Notre Dame last night. So, to me, it's because of COVID. It's because, last year was a wonky season. There's a lot going on this year. We got the NIL going. Alabama doing Alabama things. I mean, I'm pretty sure we figured that was going to happen. So yeah, I'm not concerned.
No, it's not. It's not time to pass the panic button just yet.
You got
to press that button. Yeah, this is one game, and we get it. We have a good idea of what we have to work with, and Brian Kelly said all this already. We know what we need to improve on. We know the personnel that we have. We know the things that we need to improve on as play calling and everything. And I'll tell you one thing with play calling, I don't get why we spent so much time in the 8-man prevent. That was I don't think that was very wise. We had the pressure on and we just had to finish the plays. So, but I guess that's in the past now. I mean, look, I'm not going to dog Marcus Freeman. He's a good coach. He knows what he's doing. I'm going to put my trust in him. But just, let's face it, his debut wasn't a great one.
No.
But there's still plenty of positives, and all of our fans and our fan base need to start seeing that. But you know what? The bottom line is this. We got out of there with the win. We're 1-0. The season is not over yet, so everybody's that's ready to press the panic button and quit on this team. Either stick with the team or get out. And now, what I'm not saying that you don't have the right to be angry when when the team doesn't perform well. I mean, I was pissed off and frustrated too. That's fine. But neither Ben or myself are quitting on this team or saying that we're screwed because of one close game that probably shouldn't have been close.
Yep.
So
here's what I'm doing. I am concerned, but guess what? I don't coach this team. I don't. I'm not in Brian Kelly. I'm not on the sidelines. None of that. So what I'm doing is I'm happy that we won. And I'm letting the coaching staff deal with the obvious concerns that we had last night. And moving forward, I'm looking forward to Notre Dame's next game and can't wait for what's on the horizon.
Oh, yes. And one last thing I want to cover. Everybody who's making the freaking deal about what the comment Brian Kelly made in the post game about we execute the whole team. He said it in his press conference that he was trying to quote what was the coach's name? John McKay from back in the 70s and 80s.
John McKay.
He probably butchered. I mean, now honestly, I didn't know where that line came from. I didn't know anything about it. I mean, but of course, if you actually took that serious that he wanted to execute the whole football team, you are out of your freaking minds. But leave it to the press to make a big deal out of nothing. I mean, maybe they're just making a big deal because he kind of butchered the quote. And if that's the case, then okay, fine, I get that. But if people are actually taking that serious, then they're out of their freaking minds, dude. Out of their minds. So, but I guarantee if this was any other team, I don't think anybody would be making a deal out of it. But because it's Notre Dame and Brian Kelly, front page news over something stupid. So, but look, the bottom line is one game is in the books. We are 1-0. At the end of the day, that's all that matters. Now we just got to get better. Ben, is there anything else you'd like to add?
I got nothing. We covered it.
All right. And on that note, I am ND Sean 45.
I am Irish Benjamin 57.
And as always, God bless, good night, and go Irish.
Go Irish.